Greetings everyone. Today we're going to explore how to find slope. We're going to look at tables, 2 points, graphs, and equations. Alright, so let's take a look at this graph. The first thing you want to do is always label. M stands for slope, so M equals. Now I'm looking for the change. First of all, I see that this line is decreasing as I read left to right, so it's going to be a negative slope. We always think of slope as rise over run. So rise means up or down. From one dot to the next, I'm going down 2, and run is left or right. I'm going to the right, which is a positive 3. This would be the same as saying positive 2 over negative 3, meaning if I take a look, I could have started at this dot and gone up 2, and then I could have gone left 3, which shows the negative on the bottom. They're both okay. Let's take a look here. Again, rise. I'm looking 1, 2. Run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up and to the right, so both are positive. And if I look, my line is positive. A vertical line. Let's consider this like a rise and run first of all. If I was to have 2 dots, let's say here and here, I'm rising 2 and I'm not running, so that's 0. So remember our shortcut is if the 0 is on bottom, it's like an O on bottom, so this would be a no. This is not good. So we have a special word for that. We say that our slope is undefined. This is the only time that you'll have a word for your slope, is if it's a vertical line. Ooh, how about this horizontal line? If I take a look at that rise over run idea, and let's say I've got these 2 dots, I'm not rising, but I'm running too. Well, a 0 on top, my little shortcut is to say it's okay, meaning I have a number and that number is 0. Finding slope from a table. So here's where we're looking for the rise and the run still. But remember, rise is y's, run is x's, and it's the change in those values. So how do I go from 2 to negative 2 on a number line? I would go down by 4. Well, how do I change from 9 to 3? I go down by 6. So if I'm looking at the change of y of negative 4 over the change in x, which is negative 6, but I need to simplify. What's a negative divided by a negative? Positive. And I need to reduce the 4 and the 6. They both divide by 2. So I have a 2 over a 3 as my final slope. Let's look here. My change in y, or my rise over my run. I'm decreasing by 2. I'm decreasing by 0. So my y is negative 2 and my x's are 0. This is a no. This is not good. This would be a vertical line. So this slope is that special word of undefined. Watch out for those no's. Let's take a look at this one. Again, I'm looking for my rise over run. My change here is it's increasing by 2. Okay, it's going up by 2. Think temperature. The temperature is going up if it's negative 10 to negative 8. And here I'm also increasing by a positive 2. So a 2 over a positive 2 simplifies down. You always reduce your fractions to a positive 1. Let's explore finding the slope between 2 points. Now on each of these you have 2 options. The first is you could turn it into a table if that's what you're comfortable with, meaning my x and y values are paired up. Or the second option is to use the formula. Remember, the formula is y minus y over x minus x. And I always start by 3 lines. Draw the 3 lines first. Remember, because it's rise over run, it's y's over x's. So if I take my first y and I subtract my second y, then I take my first x and I subtract my second x. If I do that, I have a negative 7 minus 3, and I have a 2 minus 5. Ooh, but what's a negative divided by a negative? Positive. Well, let's take a look at the table. Do I get the same thing? Well, my change in y, it would increase by 10, and my change in x would be increasing by 3. So no matter which way I look at it, I get a slope of 10/3. I'm okay with whichever method you choose. I would just recommend sticking to it. So let's try this again. If I want to start with the table idea, xy, xy, change and change. This change is 0. This change is 7. I'm increasing 7 degrees if I go from -2 to 5. So this would be 0 over 7. That's pretty special. If I take a look at my formula, 3 lines, y minus y, first x minus second x. Remember, it's always y minus y over x minus x. So this would get me to 0 over -7. So we have to think, is this an okay or a no? This is an okay, meaning my m is 0. You can also always use a calculator. 0 divided by 7 will get you to 0. Let's take a look at this one. I can choose table, or I can choose formula. Y, 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 y. So let's look at formula. -5 to -11, that's getting colder, so -6. -2 to -1 is getting warmer by 1 degree. This would get me to a -6 over +1. Let's look at the formula. Ooh, double negatives, be careful. Double negatives become positives. So a -5 plus 11 would be a 6. -2 plus 1 would be a -1. Compare. They both divide, and they both get me to a -6. All right, the last thing we're going to look at is finding the slope from an equation. So our goal here is to look at it, in this case, from slope-intercept form. Remember SIF, which is y equals mx plus b. Okay, meaning we need to always isolate y, and we're looking for the number in front of x, okay? Because m is always in front of my x value. So in this case, is y isolated? Yes. So check, that is good. Meaning, what number is in front of x? -2. So m equals -2. Let's take a look here. Is y isolated? Yes, it is, but there's no x value. Two ways to think about this. First of all, you could think of this equation as y equals what times x plus 4? What would make the x go away? What can I multiply by that makes it go away? A 0. Or another way to look at it could be, I'm a visual learner, so for me a graph. If I go through the y-axis at 4, that creates a horizontal line. So what's the slope of a horizontal line or a number that makes the x go away? 0. My slope is 0 on this one, so watch out for those unique equations. Let's take a look here. First of all, is y isolated? Ooh, it's not. So I got to do a little bit of work here. Draw a line down my equal sign. If I'm trying to get y by itself, we're going to kick this x to the other side by using the inverse operation. So I'm going to minus 2x. 4 minus 2x. And then I have to do the inverse. Instead of multiplying, divide everything by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. I've got a minus sign. Does 2 divide by 4? No. Think of this. I'm going to do a little side work. 2 over 4 reduces to 1 over 2. So this is 1 over 2x. So which number is in front of x? In this case, negative 1/2. Got to keep the sign with it, okay? So m equals, the slope is negative 1/2. These are going to be the tougher ones, okay? Because it combines a lot of ideas that we've done this year. Let's take a look at this last one. X equals 4. Is y isolated? Wait, there's not even a y on this one. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick sketch here to explain this. Through the x-axis at 4. X-axis at 4 would mean a vertical line. What's the slope of every vertical line? Undefined. So here's the thing. If it's x equals a number, it's undefined every time. All right, so now let's summarize all the types of slopes we've encountered. So we've had pretty clean, plain slopes like this. They're increasing, so we call them positive slopes. We've had simple going down slopes. Those are called negative. Just like on the last example, we had a vertical. That's undefined. And we also encountered horizontal, which is a slope of 0. Okay, you could say 0 or none, no slope. So you will be asked questions like this sometimes. Positive, negative, undefined, or 0. Those are the only types of answers that you can get. So to summarize finding slope, you've got the 4 types. You have some different methods to find the slope. So what you can do is make sure to check Google Classroom. What other assignments or tasks are there that we need to complete at this time? And if you need help or any concerns, make sure you contact me. Let's set up a time to visit, see if we can get you some help in understanding the topic. But until next time, have a good one.